Stay tuned. Don't change the dial. We'll be talking to the beautiful and talented Victoria McGee straight up after the news about her brand new single, Don't Leave the Leavin'. You're listening to Rock That Country with Kylz on Today's Country 94.1. Where country lives. It is 3 minutes past 1, and as I said before the break, I have the beautiful and talented Victoria McGee with me. Just 25 years of age, born and raised on coastal New South Wales, Australia. Victoria McGee has dedicated her life to music since a tender age of 8, training with some of Australia's finest vocal coaches. She to the stage professionally at just age 14 and has been there ever since. Although a versatile performer with a love of all genres of music, Victoria's first love is country. Welcome to Rock That Country with Kylz, Victoria McGee. How are you, Victoria?
Very well, thanks, Kylz. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for coming and having a chat to me. This is my show called Rock That Country. I've been playing your brand new single, Don't Leave the Leavin'.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That is a great song, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're only a youngster, aren't you? 25.
I'm actually 27 now, but
you're
if you'd like to
27.
say I'm 25, Kylie, that's wonderful.
Well, you know, Victoria, I'm only 31 plus 9, but I still tell people that I'm 31, okay?
Nice one.
You be 25, I'll be 31.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Knock a few years off, it never hurts.
Yeah, well, look, I reckon that when you turn 30, and you haven't experienced this yet, but when you turn 30, the theory is you can be whatever age you want to be after you turn 30. That's the
right.
privilege.
Keep winding back the clock.
So tell me, I watched the video clip for Don't Leave the Leavin', and obviously I've been spinning it because I do love to encourage new artists or brand new singles. I like to spin them all the time and get them the airplay that you guys so desperately need to get out there and about.
Wonderful.
And so tell me, how did the collaboration with Geoff Robertson get thrown into the mix for this song?
There's actually a really funny story, Kyle. As a little girl, I used to listen to Richard Mercer on the Sydney radio station when he does love song dedications, and Geoff used to had a big hit with a song called The Last Love Song, and I fell in love with it as a little girl because Geoff's a bit older than me, and I used to, because you don't get very good reception on your radio for love song dedications in Newcastle, so which was where I was based, and I used to have to climb on my wardrobe and put the antenna up so that I could listen to Geoffrey sing. So years later, when I actually had the opportunity to sort of get together with him, I did a few gigs in Sydney that he was at, and we made a bit of a connection, and I asked him to come up to Queensland and sing on the album, and he obliged, which was unreal. So it's been a real honour working with him. He does have a phenomenal voice, doesn't he? And for those people who may not be 100% aware, Geoff Robertson is one half of one of Australia's leading vocal duos, and that's the Robertson brothers, he and his brother Ben. And they are a fantastic duo in their own right, aren't they? They certainly are, yeah. They've had a lot of success, and I was absolutely honoured to work with him because, and I'm even more honoured now to call him a great mate. So we've formed a lovely working relationship, and hopefully one that'll be ongoing in the future. No, that's great. And speaking of lovely working relationships, you have one with Nashville Legend Louie Shelton now, don't you? I do. Completely humbled by that one too. So how did that come about? Met him back in 2006 he was playing with the Wolverines in Tamworth, and my mum sort of said, you need to talk to that man, and I'm a very shy creature when I'm not on the stage. So most people don't believe it, but I am. So I plucked up the courage and I said to Louie, can I have, get together with you and have a chat? And I met him the following day at his hotel, and I sang 3 lines, and he said to me, absolutely, I'd love to produce for you. So that was pretty humbling, seeing as I always worked with, Kenny Rogers and Lionel Richie, and I was all a bit, I had to pinch myself with songs, Kylz, in the studio when I was in there. But, I was just going to ask you that. Do you have to sometimes pinch yourself and go, oh my God, is this really happening to me? Yeah, particularly when you walk into Louie's studio, there's all, the gold records and the Nashville Hall of Fame trophy, and he's just a lovely, your everyday, lovely American man when you talk to him, and he's so humble. He's worked with Elvis, and to hear his stories and to hear the continual, classic stories that he's got, he just talks about them like he's, gone down to Woolworths for the afternoon and met up with an old friend, and you just sit there and think to yourself, oh, this can't be happening, not to me. So that's been an absolute blessing to forge such a strong working relationship with Louie.
I mean, it is lucky, but not only lucky, you're a very, very talented singer, Victoria, and windows and doors they open up for people who are talented such as yourself. So there's obviously a lot of hard work from your end as well, and that's to be accredited to you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's just been a long, I think as Dwight Yoakam once said, you know, you're on a 10-year overnight success story. So he's pretty right there. You know, people think it happens in an instant, but there's definitely years and years of long, hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, and a lot of the times people don't realise that, do they? They just go, oh, you know, who's Victoria McGee? Oh, wow, Victoria McGee is all over the world now, and it just seems like you just cropped up out of nowhere, but people don't realise.
Yep.
And as I said in the intro, you know, you've been on the stage professionally and obviously performing for 14 years of age. So, you know, you've earned your stripes. You're making your way, and that's fantastic. Now, Australian Idol and the X Factor. Now
those are the days.
We've seen you on those, haven't we?
You have. Yeah, I auditioned for X Factor in late 2004. That was the first. A lot of people don't remember the first X Factor, but it was here before it was actually what it is now.
Yep.
Back then it was on Channel 10.
Yep.
And Kate Sobrano was one of the judges on that one. So I auditioned and I ended up in Kate's team, which was just unreal to work with. You know, she's a bit of an Aussie legend.
She is.
Yeah, so to work so closely with Kate and her sort of little entourage that she had was unreal. And then auditioned for Idol in the same year and didn't expect to get both, but I ended up in both. So I actually spent a full 12 months on reality TV. It was just I thought from the date I auditioned for the X Factor through to when I finally finished on Idol, it was a full 12 months on reality television. So.
Well, Victoria, thank God it's a talent-based reality show and not a Lara Bingle type thing, you know.
Absolutely, otherwise we'd be in big trouble, wouldn't we?
And I wouldn't be talking to you if you had a Lara Bingle type show.
No, I think I'm better off on the one I was on.
Tell me about the new single, Don't Leave the Leavin'. Who wrote the song?
It was written by a girl called Tia Sillers, and Tia actually wrote I Hope You Dance for Leanne Womack.
Wow.
And, yes, plenty of other classics for Trisha Yearwood, all those sort of girls. So she's a pretty high-profile songwriter in the States. And Louie sort of went over last year and had a bit of a meeting with them all and played them my other album and said, you know, we're looking for songs for this girl, and they were more than happy to put them forward for me to record. So, again, that was a bit of a pinch yourself moment when, you know, you find out who these writers are written for and then they agree to let you record their material. It's unreal.
You really are rubbing shoulders with the biggies, aren't you now, mate?
Sometimes.
Excuse us, Victoria McGee. Oh wow, that is fantastic. But as I said, it doesn't come without all the talent that you offer. And as I said, like I saw I saw it on YouTube, the video clip for Don't Leave the Leavin'. And you know, look, without sounding all, I don't know, funny, you know, you're the complete package from what I see. You've got a beautiful voice, you're a beautiful woman, and you seem to have everything, you know, and it's a credit to you, Victoria, and I'm really pleased to be able to speak to you today, because as soon as I heard the single, I've been spinning it from the day one after I got it. I was playing it, and I just thought, you know, and I'll be honest, I hadn't heard a lot about you before, and I just thought, wow, this girl, you've really got something. And now reading your bio, I'm like, wow, you know, you can see that talent is gone somewhere, and you know, you're just going to keep going further up from there.
Thank you. Thanks, Carl. That's lovely.
Now, Victoria, how about we run the song out? Let's have a listen to this brand new single of yours, Don't Leave the Leavin'. The Leavin', I should say. There's not a G on the end there.
Country song, yes.
That's right. They don't say G's, leaving
and
dating and singing and chatting.
That's it.
And let's have a listen to the brand new single featuring Geoff Robertson from the Robertson Duo. Stay with me, Victoria. We'll talk after the song.
Thanks, Carl.
Don't wake up tomorrow morning on the other side of town and let yourself down my number just to see if I'm around. hear your voice crack. Don't ask if I'm alright. Don't say maybe we should give it one more chance, 'cause you know I just might. Don't leave the leaving up to me. I don't think I'm strong enough. Still love you too much, still love you too much. Just go if you're gonna set me free. If you can, oh, then maybe please don't leave the leaving up to me.
If you see me on the sidewalk, just let me pass on by. I don't wanna be blindsided by that old familiar smile. Don't call my name out loud. I walk up and say hello. Don't you dare say it was a big mistake to ever let me go. No, don't leave the leaving up to me. I don't think I'm strong enough. I still love you too much, still love you too much. Go if you're gonna set me free. And if you care at all, then baby, please don't leave the leaving up to me. Don't tell me that you're sorry. Don't say another word.
Don't swear the last thing you wanted was to ever see me hurt. No, no, no. Don't leave the leaving up to me. 'Cause I don't think I'm strong enough. I still love you too much. I still love you too much. Go if you're gonna set me free.
And if you care at all, then baby, please
Don't leave the leaving up to me. Baby, don't leave the leaving up to me. Yeah, yeah. Don't leave the leaving up to me.
Oh, that's a beautiful song. Victoria McGee featuring Geoff Robertson from the Robertson Brothers, and that song, Don't Leave the Leavin'. We've got Victoria on the phone. Welcome back, Victoria.
Thank you.
The two voices there, yours and Jeff's, it's just like they were meant to be put together there in that song, isn't it?
It certainly was, and the amazing thing was that was probably never supposed to be the duo. There's another track on the album called Undone, and that was the one that I had in mind for the duet. And then when Jeffrey flew in and he was listening to the songs the day before we recorded, he texted me and he said, please tell me that the duet is Don't Leave the Leavin'. So I'd previously recorded it on my own, and then we went back and did it together, and that was how it all eventuated. So we'll never look back now, I don't think.
Oh, hell no. No, hell no. Now, is there an album that will be coming out, Victoria?
There is. The album will be my second album. Also, the first was produced by Louie as well. And it's going to be called Fire in the Wind, which I thought was a really positive...
Very positive.
Positive name for it, and the title track is just stunning. So, yeah, Fire in the Wind, and it's looking for release if we can stop the rain from raining for the last few photographs for the album cover. We'll be looking at a release in August.
Oh, that's great. So hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on that and start running that one out.
I'm not sure it's that
Great. Now, before we played the song, you mentioned that you're a Newcastle girl. I am also a Newey girl.
There you go.
Yes,
They
and
breed them well in Newcastle.
they breed them well, and they breed them tough in Newcastle, I reckon.
Yes.
So which high school did you go to, Victoria?
I went to the Performing Arts School at Broadmeadow.
In Broadmeadow. That's the one where you got to audition and everything for, don't you? Like, it takes like 3 years to fill out the application forms, audition, and go through the processes.
Yeah, it's a long process. I was in a little Catholic primary school until year 5, and singing sort of started to really take off because I started singing when I was 8, and came out of my shell gradually and auditioned for the Performing Arts School, and it opened windows of opportunity for me, which was great.
I think it's funny that before we played the song and you said, like you are relatively shy. I get you on the stage, you're probably bursting with personality and confidence, and you're perhaps a little bit shy or a bit introverted off the stage. And I am exactly the same, Victoria. I have a catchphrase. I say, I don't like people. I can talk on the radio and I can MC and do all that sort of stuff, but if you get me in a room full of people, I clam up like an oyster.
Yeah, look, it's the same for me, and my mum always said, even as a little baby, she'd have to cover me up with a blanket and go shopping, because if anyone would look at me, I was so timid I'd just cry. So now I don't like being put out of my comfort zone. It does take me all the time to get on a stage, but once I'm out there, I've got an alter ego, I think.
I think that is amazing, because that is an exact same as me. I'm exactly the same. I can talk on the radio, and as I said, I can do everything. But I have been to events now as part of the profile thing for stations and whatnot. And as I said to you just off air, I work on another station as well. And you've got to go to events, and I cower in a corner. If people talk to me, I'm like, oh my God, please don't talk to me. I've got beads of sweat.
It's very true. People will come up to me at shows, or if mum or part of the team sort of hanging out in the crowd, someone will come over and say, Victoria, this lady wants to talk to you about. I'm like, oh, can you just...
Can you do it? Can you handle that?
Yeah. That's where the Wolverine gigs, I did 16 shows with the Wolverines in Tamworth a couple of years back, and after their shows, they're very meet and greet. They're on the door when you walk in, and they're all about their fans, and after the show, you have to stand and sign and meet people and greet people, and I was just fish out of water. I said to John Clinton from the Wolverines, really, do I have to do this? And he's like, come on, Victoria.
Can they just email me?
Yeah, just tell them to send me an email. But no, that came in handy for me, because it definitely taught me a lot about my people and fans. That was lovely to experience.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a great story too. Now, another great story about you, which I really admire, Victoria, is that you spent a lot of time working towards raising funds for Ronald McDonald House and the Westmead Children's Hospital, and a charity that is very, very close to your heart. So tell me the story. How did you get involved in that?
Back when I was in primary school, there was a little boy in a class a few years younger than me. His name was Ben, and he was diagnosed as 5 months old with an incurable brain tumour. So I met Benjamin when he was in kindy, and us girls from the older classes would often sort of look after him. And we discovered our mutual love for music. Benjamin loved the stage and loved to sing, and he was a born performer. But unfortunately, with his condition, it was pretty hard for him. So I nurtured him through the years, and we sang together. We even went to national television and opened the NBN telethon together in 2000 and, let me think, goodness, it's many, many years ago. Could have been in 1997 it was, actually. Yep, way back then. So we got the opportunity, to sing on that, and that was to raise funds for the Mater Hospital here in Newcastle for their cancer ward.
Yep.
Which is still standing today, which every time I drive past, I think I was part of that, And sadly, I lost little Ben, passed away when he was just 10. So when I lost Ben and I'd, finished raising funds for him, I remembered how much relief Ronald McDonald House gave to his family, during his times of treatment and things like that. I'm not sure how many listeners are aware of what Ronald McDonald House does, but it basically provides a home away from home for children from rural areas or receiving treatment that they can't receive in their own hometown. And, so from there on, when Ben passed away, I said to, his grandma said to me at the funeral, if you never sing for yourself again, always sing for Ben, because he can't. And she said, and please continue your work with the house. So I became a volunteer, the youngest volunteer at Newcastle Ronald McDonald House. And then I moved on to help Westmead and to the Line Dancing Association that I have. They help Westmead as well. So Westmead's quite large in the house and needs a lot of funding. I think because people think that Ronald McDonald House is McDonald's, that it's continually funded, but that's not correct.
That's
it's
right.
built by McDonald's, and then it's up to the volunteers and everybody in the house to continue to raise funds for the house. So it's a worthwhile charity, and I've met beautiful, some more beautiful, seriously ill children. You'll see them one year at the Christmas party, and sadly, the next year some of them might not be there. And then the following year you might see one that's completely in remission and full head of hair and happy as can be. So it's a very rewarding experience to be involved in.
And as you said, I have been involved also myself with Ronald McDonald House and the Westmead Children's Hospital, and I lost a niece at 17 from leukemia, and we made a lot of trips down there. And without Ronald McDonald House and what they do, boy, I don't think, and like you said, I don't think that people realise just how important this Ronald McDonald House and the foundation and the organisation are, because I keep saying all the time, children are our future, and when they get sick and they don't live locally and they live out in the sticks or out in the west or whatever it is, this is a home away from home for them, and it's an absolute necessity, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, the financial burden that it places on families alone, to try and pay for accommodation and things like that, to have a place like Ronald McDonald House where they get a reduced, rate of accommodation is just, it's much better for those families during such a difficult time.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and as I said to you before, you to be credited and congratulated for the work that you do there. We only wish we could get more people to do it, and you're obviously a very, very busy lady, but you've still found the time to do that, and it shouldn't, and for you and for a lot of people, they do it because they have been touched by somebody who has affected them enough to say, okay, I need to get down, I need to get into this and give something back, and that's what you're doing. So
absolutely, yep,
that's great. Now, on another matter, I'm reading that you I'm reading that you have performed for some NRLs and some footy matches and things like that.
I have.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, being a Newcastle girl, surely you follow the Knights?
I do.
Oh, good girl.
I do indeed.
What was it like performing in those big scale events like that?
It was pretty daunting. I still do it occasionally, but I remember the first few times I did it, it's just you go to sound check and the stadium's empty, and then when you go back at night to perform for the game, you've got this full stadium of people, and before you go out and say we've got a record crowd here tonight of, and I think one night that I sang there, I think it was 28,500 people. They announced that before I walked on, so shy little me was standing going, I don't want to do this anymore. So, but it was a big thrill, and, it's always an honour to sing for the home team. So I'm a Newcastle girl through and through, so very proud of where I come from.
Oh,
so
good
it's
girl.
always a great honour.
Good girl. I'm ashamed to say that even though I am a Newey girl, I follow the Melbourne Storm.
Oh, no, look. Kylz, I thought we were going to be friends.
I know, I thought so too.
I'll forgive you this one.
All right, no worries, because I was going to say the next time I go, Victoria, would you like to go on the radio and chat to me? No, I'll go with someone else.
Kylz, can you get me a Newcastle Knights supporter and you might have a chance? Yeah.
I'll become one overnight, Victoria. Thank you so much, Victoria, for talking to me. It's been a pleasure. Now, I always take my interviews out with one question, or a choice of two, actually.
Okay.
And don't panic, it's nothing too difficult.
Okay.
I need to know, what is the last CD that you bought, or what is the last song that you've listened to?
The last CD that I bought is Alan Jackson's latest album.
30 Miles West.
Yeah, and it's the song that I love most of it is So You Don't Have to Love Me Anymore.
Oh, and see, that is my favourite Alan Jackson song off the CD. Surely that puts me back in your good books.
It does. We can be friends, Carl.
Yay. Victoria, been a pleasure. Congratulations on the new single. We'll be waiting with bated breath for that new album to come out. And I'll be spinning that as soon as I get my little hands on it.
Sounds good. And if you could let the listeners know, Kyle, that it is out on Country Music Channel now. and they can go online and vote for it to climb the charts on the top 30 on CMC.
We'll be pressing the buttons, don't you worry, mate.
Sounds good.
Okay, take care. Have a great rest of the day, and we look forward to seeing you around. And
Thank you.
And promoting that album. So when the album comes out, give me another buzz, and we'll do the chat.
No trouble. All right, Kyle. Have a great day.
Yeah, take care. Thanks again so much, Victoria.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.